Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Sorry dear friends for this technical issues. Unfortunately, when I start first time stream, internet went down exactly at that point, and I was unable to continue that stream, so I created this new one, and I apologize for that. I can see now that speed of internet is okay, at least for now. It seems like. Thank you all for participating in this stream. Today is of course 25th of February. Now it's 22 past 9 in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze, and this is our Sunday traditional Sunday stream. Well, I'm glad, by the way, that internet come back. That was quite unfortunate, really. Quite unfortunate. I had to delay this 1 minute stream, but hopefully it will work now. And well, as always, dear friends, as always, I will be very active in the chat. I will monitor chat, and if I see any questions that I can answer, I will definitely try to do so. And at the same time, I will share with you latest updates for now. So this is going to be like informal talk in real time, and informal talk and news summary, short news summary. Yes, hello again. Hello everyone. Thank you all for participating, and of course thanks to all of the members of our community who will watch this stream later on. Unfortunately, I made the mistake during the first update, when I was recording first update today. I said that I will have a live stream on Rumble because I mistaken days. For whatever reason, I forgot that it was Sunday today, and I was thinking I have a Telegram reports on Rumble. Only after I uploaded video, I realized that it's a Sunday, so I have a live stream on YouTube, not on Rumble. But well, things happened. So if I may, I will go through the news now. There are quite a few interesting updates, and well, let's start. And as I said, by the way, I will share with you headlines of the news that was reported since the first update, and then I will monitor chat and I will try to answer to your questions. If you can, please, if you have a question, write it in a capital letters on, write capital Q before the question so that I will easily recognize it. So yes, let's start. And of course, first of all, short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. We have quite interesting update, by the way, for this moment, which is that according to number of military channels, Russian armed forces are conducting offensive operation in direction of right now, as we speak, in direction of Toninka, this settlement here. I report about it on my Telegram, and it was quite obvious. Once Russian forces established control over the Severnaya, it was next step to establish control over the Lastachkina, and it happened. So both these settlements are under full Russian control right now. Also, of course, Stepove or Petrovskaya, and next logical step is Toninka, of course. And Russian forces, according to a latest report, and according to this military map, are conducting military operations now, offensive operations inside the Toninka village itself. It seems like Ukrainian defense lines are not really able to hold on to their positions after fail of Avdiivka, because after all, one should keep in mind that Avdiivka strongholds and defense lines in and around Avdiivka were built since 2014. And there was no second tier or third tier defense lines prepared deep inside Kiev controlled territory. And therefore, it is quite understandable that once Ukrainian forces lost control over their Avdiivka, they are unable, at least for now, to build up more or less fortified defense lines that will be able, at least theoretically, to withstand these local-scale Russian offensives. And I guess it's only a matter of days, let's say, and Toninka will be under Russian control. And next logical step, of course, is Orlovka, Gastronome, and Berdichi, of course, which is right next to Stepove. This is when it comes to Avdiivka direction. Although on the front line, of course, many of us, I guess, expect now successful Russian offensive operations in direction of Krasnogorovka, in direction of Novomykhailovka and Paraskovievka. This settlement is going to be next undoubtedly. And of course, Rabotina, by the way. Of course, Rabotina, Russian armed forces are controlling almost the half of this village, maybe even more for this moment. And I personally would not be surprised if we receive information for tomorrow's morning that Rabotina is under full Russian control, and during the night time Ukrainian units withdraw from this village. And after that, I guess this Orekhov bridgehead will become a part of history. There will be no more bridgehead, Ukrainian bridgehead in this area. Russian forces will re-establish control over their entire territories in Orekhov direction that was lost during this so-called spring-summer offensive of Ukrainian armed forces. And well, that's been, and of course, dear friends, when it comes to developments for today, we receive additional information that Russian armed forces further improve their positions in village of Krasnoye, which is of course Ivanovskaya. These two names, by the way, certain settlements have these double names, Ukrainian one and Russian one. So Russian name is Krasnoye, Ukrainian one is Ivanovskaya. And Russian forces are basically now flanking this village. Fights are taking place inside the settlement itself. And well, maybe it's just a day or two max that Ukrainian units will be able to hold on to Russian advance. And they will probably start to withdraw from this village. And next will be, of course, Chisovyar direction itself, this Canal district of Chisovyar. And same time, we are receiving information that Russian forces activate their offensive in Bogdanovka area also, and Klishevka, by the way, on the southern flank of Bakhmut. Although from Klishevka itself, which is, if you take a look at this map, Klishevka was quite a small settlement, just several roads, a few, like 2-3 dozen of buildings, and right now almost nothing is left. Unfortunately, as a result of intense clashes, almost nothing is left from this settlement. It's like a moon landschaft, moon surface, or like Marinka when it's totally destroyed. That's a result of intense clashes on line of contact. And one more indicator why Russian forces and Russian general staff, in my personal opinion, right now main task is to demilitarize Kiev regime, units that are still loyal to Kiev regime, on the current line of contact with some maximum sectoral levels changes on the line of contact, because whenever line of contact is moving westwards, whatever settlements are on the path, they are destroyed as a result of these intense clashes. And I believe Russian armed forces will continue to operate in this active defense, with this active defense strategy, exactly to make sure that they will force basically Kiev regime to capitulate on more or less same line of contact with some sectoral level changes, or at least before Ukrainian armed forces will start collapsing all along the front line, so that during the large-scale offensive operations that will follow in that case, there will be less casualties and less destruction on the ground, which is of course important because, as I said many times before, whatever is destroyed during these clashes, it's Russia and Russian taxpayers that will pay to rebuild and work to rebuild. And this is when it comes to a short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. Of course, military channels will provide us with some additional information about changes on line of contact. I will share with you some headlines from other news, and the TASS news agency reported, and almost every other media outlet here in Russia, that according to Russian Defense Ministry, 2 Ukrainian missiles were shot down over the Black Sea this evening. About 19 hours, which is 7 o'clock, of course. And maybe during the night time, usually when Kiev regime is conducting strikes towards Crimea, it's a combined strike with the active use of maritime drones, missiles, and aerial drones. And I wouldn't be surprised if during the night time Kiev regime will try to conduct strikes with the maritime drones and the aerial drones, also with the missiles. I guess Russian air defense systems and Russian Black Sea warships that are patrolling coastline of the Crimea are ready for such a development. Also, RIA Novosti's report that according to Ukrainian media, there was heavy explosions this evening in Zaporozhye, in Kiev-controlled part of Zaporozhye, and in this particular case, Ukrainian Telegram reports were talking about Zaporozhye city itself, which is for now under Kiev controlled. Also, at this report that first Abrams tanks are sent in Avdiivka direction. This was stated by senior Russian official Igor Kimakovsky, an advisor to head of Russia's Donetsk People's Republic. And well, it's good that we have an official statement about the redeployment of Abrams main battle tanks in Avdiivka direction, but for us this is not really a surprise, because I reported a few days ago, and I even share videos on my Telegram about deployment of Abrams tanks on Avdiivka direction. It depends how many those Abrams tanks are on Avdiivka sector. If there is at least 5 or 10 of them, then I guess Russian operators of the drones will hunt them down, and at least several of them will be destroyed, and we will receive additional information. But if only 1 or 2 tanks were deployed just for media purposes, just to conduct some propaganda move, then well, they can hide these 2 tanks somewhere, or even remove from the region once some video footage was made about them. But it's good that we have now official confirmation of the news that I reported about a few days ago. Also, RT's report that West should be bolder in seizing Russian assets, according to British PM, by the way. British Prime Minister is calling, which is a shame on Western world, on collective West and Western so-called elites, because, I mean, British Prime Minister is openly calling now his colleagues in the Western world not to be shy and to steal Russian frozen assets a little bit, faster, which is crazy, by the way, which is crazy. All financial institutions of the collective West, all of them, with almost no exceptions, European Central Bank, IMF, World Bank, commercial banks themselves, all are calling for Western ruling elites not to steal Russian assets, not to seize frozen Russian assets, because it will destroy whatever remains from reputation of Western financial system, Western banking system, Western economy. And it seems like these politicians, by the way, that are ideologized in extreme levels, they just don't care. They don't listen to professionals, by the way, because those people that are in financial system, in banking system, of course, they really understand what may follow after stealing of Russian assets. But these politicians, they don't care. They just don't care because, I mean, they are millionaires and billionaires. I mean, all they care is to continue this effort to push this anti-Russian narrative, this Russophobia, and that's what they do. Also, by the way, Germany's foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, made a statement that Germany is still undecided on a long-range weapons for Ukraine. Although, as I reported quite a number of times, Germany's parliament, Bundestag, already voted in favor of deliveries of long-range weapon systems to Kiev regime, and it all depends really on Washington's decision. If Washington is one step away to deliver long-range ATACMS missiles to Kiev regime, even longer range that current missiles that Kiev regime has that are launched from HIMARS MLRS systems, then I guess Washington will further pressure, not even pressure, they will just call in Berlin and order the German assets in government of Germany to transfer Taurus long-range cruise missiles to Kiev regime also. That's how it's gonna happen. Seems like because Baerbock is making this statement, maybe they didn't yet receive a direct order from Washington, and that's why they're trying to stay, step away from this extreme level of escalation with Moscow, with Russia. But eventually, yet again, it all depends on decision making in Washington, what they will decide. And it is very dangerous, of course, because all those long-range weapon systems theoretically can carry nuclear warhead, can carry some dirty bomb. Kiev, by the way, controls few nuclear power stations, and where is the guarantees that, for example, Kiev regime will not create some dirty bomb and don't use those long-range missiles to drop these radioactive materials on deep inside Russian territory. There is no such guarantees, so that's why I'm saying that deliveries of long-range missiles or weapon systems like 500 kilometers and more, it's definitely a level of escalation that may even provoke direct conflict between Russia and NATO. And high-ranking Russian officials are quite open about it. Anyway, let's continue. Also, TASS news agencies report that head of EU diplomacy, Josep Borrell, made a statement that next several months will be decisive in Ukrainian conflict, and therefore collective West has to further increase financial and military support to Kiev regime. Well, I don't know what information Borrell has, why he is stating that next several months will be decisive, but it might be. It might be because right now we almost on daily basis are receiving information on significant, at least on a sectoral level, significant progress of Russian military personnel on line of contact, and one may even suggest that we have a first glimpse of inevitable collapse of Ukrainian defense lines. So yes, if Ukrainian defense lines will collapse in next several weeks or several months, in that case, yes, Borrell's prediction or statement may be seen as somewhat correct. RIA Novosti's report, by the way, although at the same time we have some indicators also. For example, UK is already allocating some $300 million for 2025 on military supplies for Kiev regime. So in one hand we have statements that next several months will be decisive, and on the other hand a major Western country is allocating funds for already allocating funds for next year to finance Kiev regime. So hard to tell, at least for now it's hard to tell when when this conflict will end. We can tell how this conflict will end, and I'm quite sure conflict will end, will full disintegration of Ukraine. Vast majority of territories of this former Soviet Republic will be controlled by Russia, and western regions of Ukraine will be controlled by Western states, Western neighbors of the Ukraine, Romania, Poland, Hungary, and by NATO, of course. But yet again, let's see. I'm not Nostradamus, isn't it? I cannot know for sure. I can just have my prediction. RIA Novosti's report that on the border between Poland and Ukraine, some 2,400 trucks are now in a queue to cross the border. Crisis on the border between two countries are increases, and more and more aggressive statements we can hear from Kiev towards Poland, Polish truckers, Polish farmers, and well, let's see how the situation continue develop further. Right now, by the way, Polish farmers and whoever is against current situation that Ukrainian agricultural goods are flooding EU markets, they are now blocking not just roads or highways, but also railways. And today on my Telegram, I did share this video footage and some photo materials about this train with Ukrainian corn. I believe some doors were open on some 8 wagons, and some 160 tons of corn was laying on the floor. Some kind of sabotage of angry people in Poland, angry farmers. And seems like these protests will continue because these farmers have a point. Ukrainian goods are flooding EU markets, and therefore they cannot sell their own product on EU market in the same scale, let's say, that they used to. And therefore their businesses are suffering. Some of the farmers in the EU may just go out of business, and they don't want it. And one may understand why they are against it. Of course, they want to save their businesses, their livelihood. Who can blame them for that, really? Therefore, I think this crisis on the borders between Ukraine and Poland will continue for a while. And I don't think Polish government, despite some strong statements, really wants to escalate with its own citizens on topic of Ukraine. I don't think so. They might make some strong statements. They might achieve some agreements, temporary agreements with the farmers or truckers to remove this blockade, let's say, of the border for a day or two. But it happened before, and what? After some time, after several days or week, protest continues. Protests were renewed, so it will stay this way for a while, I guess. TASS News Agency's report that according to Politico, US media outlet, allies of US and partners are irritated by these secondary sanctions that US is imposing on businesses, just worldwide, by the way. They don't care these businesses are from which country. They are imposing secondary sanctions on businesses that are operating with Russian companies, and it is quite understandable. It is quite understandable because Chinese companies will find a way to continue cooperation with Russian businesses, and how to avoid they will find a way to how to avoid the secondary sanctions from Washington and Brussels, by the way, or London. But when it comes to Western companies, they don't really have opportunity to risk that much, and they are losing billions. They are losing billions, and many companies may even go out of business because of this extreme level of sanctions. from the West. So they really are harming their own economies, their own businesses, because everybody understands whatever European companies are making, or US companies, for example, almost the similar stuff you can buy in China, almost the similar stuff you can buy in India, in Indonesia, in some other countries, in Turkey, isn't it? And I mean, Russia will receive whatever it needs to import from outside, while Western businesses will lose billions and billions on it, and they will lose market, by the way, what is most important, because one day, of course, relationships will be rebuilt between or supposed to be rebuilt between the Russia and Western states, at least on a working level, in 5, 10, 15 years time. But it will be immensely difficult, if even possible, for Western companies to re-establish themselves on the Russian market, for companies that left Russia entirely. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report. The president of Belarus, Lukashenko, made a statement that he will participate in next year's presidential election. So if that's the case, then I guess he's gonna be next president of Belarus again, a new president of Belarus again in 2025. And well, I mean, he's how long is he in power? 25 years. Belarus is standing strong. Belarus is standing stronger. They managed to neutralize this provoked by West so-called revolution, and economy of Belarus is also doing quite okay, somewhat even benefiting from current escalation between Russia and the West. Therefore, I guess majority in Belarus may vote for him again. I don't know, but most likely they will. Especially nowadays, when stability and security is much more important than in peace times. And right now, Russia and Belarus, both countries, by the way, are at war with the Western elites. And the majority of people understands this perfectly well. RT's report that most Germans believe Ukrainian refugees have failed to integrate, according to polls. Most Germans are dissatisfied with the Berlin's policies regarding Ukraine. According to a new survey, many believe the government is doing too much for Ukrainians that arrived in Germany after the start of the conflict between Moscow and Kiev, while not doing enough to help end the fighting. The fighting. So, well, that's a quite interesting information, by the way. That majority of, according to this poll, majority of citizens of Germany are believing that too much have been done for refugees. I have no issues with that. I mean, they are refugees, and if you can to help them, that's great. Of course, refugees not supposed to abuse kindness of receiving side, and they should integrate, of course, as much as possible. Especially if they are planning to stay there, they should learn language. They should find work and become a successful member of society and social fabric. Of course, it's obvious. But same time, I can understand the frustration of the German societies, because they see that the government of Germany is not really doing much to end this hostility in Ukraine, which is true, by the way, which is true. So poll was conducted by INSA Polling Institute for the tabloid Bild. Almost 50%, according to this poll, of respondents said Ukrainian refugees receive too much support. Yet again, I don't know what's going on in Germany, but they are refugees, by the way, and they are refugees. So if you can help them, help them. yet again with precondition that they're not gonna abuse social security system in Germany, of course. Maybe they are abusing, and that's why German citizens are not happy with the situation. Maybe. Also, by the way, 35% calling the current level of aid appropriate, and only 5% describing it as insufficient. More than half of those that participate in this survey also believe that efforts to integrate Ukrainians into German society has failed, and less than 30% say their efforts have been somewhat successful. The number of Ukrainians living in Germany has risen from 138,000 in January 2022 to 1,150,000, Bild reported, citing the Federal Statistics Office. Ukrainians now make up 1.4% of population. It added, wow, that's quite a number, isn't it? And this is registered refugees, by the way, and I guess a significant number of people are not even registered. Maybe. But yet again, whatever the case, that's interesting numbers, interesting statistics. I did not know how many Ukrainian citizens were in Germany. So more than 1 million. Okay. Also, by the way, RT is reporting that G7 is pledges to continue bankrolling Ukraine. Of course, they're gonna continue. What else? What other options they have after 2 years of this increased Russophobia and anti-Russian hysteria, and after decades, basically decades of anti-Russian policies, including, by the way, enlargement of NATO and establishing military bases around Russia. They will continue until they don't, until they will be forced to basically stop doing this craziness and pushing this world towards nuclear Armageddon. RIA Novosti's report that Trump, by the way, won in South Carolina, these primaries. He had some record-breaking numbers, as I understand. And at this point, only question I have, why Nikki Haley is not dropping her candidacy? I mean, what is she hoping for? That Trump will be what? Neutralized somehow, and she will remain only candidate for Republicans? Or what is behind her policy? I mean, why she is in race when there is not even 1% chance that she will beat Trump? I mean, it's just not possible. But something is dodgy. I mean, something dodgy is happening there. And also, by the way, TASS News Agency's report that Prime Minister of Yemeni government that is recognized internationally. Of course, Ansar Allah movement has its own government. They are ruling in the southern Yemen. And this government, this prime minister is representing Yemeni's government that is in charge on the northern side of Yemen. So this person, prime minister of Yemen, Ahmed Awad Ben Mubarak, will arrive in Moscow for negotiations, and I guess one of the main topics during these negotiations will be escalation in the Red Sea, in Gulf of Aden, and I guess he will ask Russian side to use its influence to somehow calm down Ansar Allah movement, so that there will be no more no further escalation in the region. And by the way, Moscow may try to do its bit on this. Moscow may try to persuade Ansar Allah movement to stop targeting ships in the region, in the Red Sea and in the Gulf of Aden. Moscow already made statements, by the way, even on the highest stages on UN, for example, that Russia is calling for Ansar Allah movement to stop immediately targeting commercial vessels. But yet again, what one should never exaggerate possible influence of Moscow on Ansar Allah movement. If Tehran cannot persuade them to stop firing missiles and drones on commercial vessels, then I don't think Moscow has more influence in Yemen among members of Ansar Allah movement than Iran does. But it's good that some steps are made towards diplomatic solution in the Middle East. It's definitely good move. Let's see how effective that will be. And there is report, by the way, that Rothschild clans battling over bank clients, according to Bloomberg. Quite interesting story, by the way. Quite interesting story. Should I go through some details? Let's go, because whenever you hear Rothschilds, of course you think these shadow rulers of the world straight away. I mean, there are several families or clans that seen by public, if not majority, significant part of society worldwide as shadow rulers of this world, and Rothschild clan is definitely one of them. Like Rockefellers also. There are some Bach family, I believe, DuPonts, Morgans. There are number of families that are seen as these shadow rulers of this world, and well, Rothschilds definitely are one of them. Let's go through some news, by the way, here. The Rothschild family's Swiss and the French branches are battling for dominance in the wealth management industry, which is causing tensions and sparking speculations of a merger that would significantly impact the global financial landscape. Bloomberg writes this week, the Swiss private bank Edmond de Rothschild Group and the smaller French lender Rothschild and Company, Rothschild and Co., are the only remaining banks with the links to the family, whose name has been a synonym for the wealth and the power for more than 2 centuries. The Rothschild family emerged from the Jewish ghetto in Frankfurt in the 19th century to become one of the world's richest and most powerful financial dynasties that bankrolled wars and empires and helped shape Europe's economic and political history. After decades of operating in relatively different segments, the Swiss and the French branches are now targeting the same relatively different segments. The Swiss and the French branches are now targeting the same wealthy clients. The odds of merger within the renewed family are now rising, as both banks are fighting for a bigger share of the 250 trillion global wealth management industry. To the outlet said 250 trillion global wealth management. Wow, that's quite something. And by the way, also interesting stuff that formally, these two banks that have direct roots to Rothschilds are not as big as one may think on the world scale. So let's go through some additional information here. So they are now the Paris-based Rothschild and Co., run by Alexandre de Rothschild, the 43-year-old 7th generation member of the smaller of the two banks, 7th generation of leader of this smaller bank. The bank had over 102 billion euros in assets under management in mid-2023. However, it has been grown rapidly by opening more offices in the same segment, rivaling its Swiss pair. An aggressive expansion came as the Swiss-based Edmond de Rothschild, led by Baroness Ariane de Rothschild, grapples with the stagnating business. The article states, At the end of 2022, assets under management of the bank were down to 158 billion Swiss francs, which is approximately $179 billion, from 178 billion francs previous year. So, well, 20 billion francs drop, which is about, I don't know, 30 billion dollars. Meanwhile, over the past few years, the Paris-based firm has opened wealth management offices in Italy, Luxembourg, UK, and even made same acquisitions in Switzerland, Ariane's backyard. Experts also point to confusion among the customers as two separate Rothschild businesses are moving into each other's territories. And by the way, experts say a merger between these two would give a heft to the Rothschild empire in a globalized economy, where the lines between tradition and innovation are increasingly blurred. The two banks are too small when set against the industry behemoths such as Morgan Stanley and UBS Group AG, or even Swiss private banks, Julius Bayer and Bank Pictet. So yes, compared to these bigger banks, although I never heard about Julius Bayer, this bank, I have no idea who they are, and Bank Pictet I also never heard, but well, UBS Group is known for everybody, I guess, and also Morgan Stanley, of course. But these two other two, I mean, Swiss banks, they are also giants in the field, and compared to these ones, these Rothschild banks, even combined, are tiny somewhat, which is strange, isn't it? But you tell me if there is some shadow links, some shadow channels that the Rothschild clan operates. I mean, this is conspiracy stuff, by the way, and I'm not expert in this. I don't really know much on this field, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers. I just know that yes, they are pursued as shadow rulers, and I even read some time ago some papers that Rothschild clan in reality may operate trillions with indirect control over their shares worldwide. But yet again, I just don't know. It's interesting that Rothschild clan is in kind of civil war right now, but eventually they will probably merge, and who knows, man, what will be next. And this is it, by the way, when it comes to news summary. I don't know how short it is, but well, hopefully you will find this part of the live stream interesting. And now let's go through some comments. If I see any questions, by the way, of course, I will try to answer. And before that, dear friends, if I may, let me remind you that you can support my work. You can support this small media project of mine during the stream also. And if you want to ask question, I definitely would not miss that question if you write it through donation alerts. It's a link in the description box for this platform, donation alerts, and also I will monitor Buy Me Coffee, and if I see any questions during the stream through Buy Me Coffee, of course I will try to answer on that question during this stream, of course. And well, okay, that's been said. Let's go through some comments now. So I will open YouTube here because I don't know why, but OBS, it seems like OBS not always showing me all the comments, and I was reading comments on OBS before, and I will now read on YouTube directly. So once again, thank you all for participating, dear friends. Thank you all. And of course, many thanks to all the members of our community who will watch this episode of live stream later on. And Kevin Morris is asking question. It's been reported that NATO F-16 have shot down 7 Russian fighters in the last week. Is it this true? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because for now, at least for now, no one side, not Russian side, not Ukrainian side, not Western so-called elites or the propaganda outlets are mentioning anything about operations of F-16 in the Ukrainian sky. So I don't know these rumors are coming from. Theoretically, we may think that some F-16s have been delivered to Kiev regime already, but and they might even operate. But why would Kiev regime shy to make statements about it, or why would Western ruling elites will say nothing about it, especially if they shut down 7 Russian planes? They will brag about in every single media outlet that there is in Ukraine or in the West. I did not see. I hear from you first time, Kevin, about this story. So Salazar Oliveira is asking, have you news about A-50 aeroplane? Yes, A-50 by the way is a Russian analog of US AWACS plane. It's based on Il-76 transport plane with a radar dish on the top. And unfortunately, there were some claims 2 days ago, I believe, that as a result of friendly fire, A-50 was shut down in Krasnodar region, I believe. There was a report in Russian media that something fell down in Krasnodar region. Without officials did not share any information. What was it? A-50 or Il-76 or maybe drone, some sort of. So we don't have official statements about this story about A-50, but Russian military channels, including big military channels like Rebel, they spoke about this topic and they said that unfortunately A-50 was shut down by, most likely by friendly fire. But yet again, no official statements on this topic, and therefore I have no way to know. And of course I'm not there and I don't have some sources in defense ministry to know any more than is available in open sources. So yes, unfortunately there are rumors that A-50 or maybe Il-76 that was converted from transport variant to passenger variant was shut down, one or another. But yet again, no official statements on this topic. So let's go through the question. It might be just rumors, by the way. That's the point. So many times we heard some rumors. Just recently, there was speculations that Gerasimov died somewhere in Crimea during the Ukrainian strike, and for a month or two there was rumors that Gerasimov died, and a few days ago he arrived in zone of special military operation and give some medals to military personnel who was participating in Avdiivka operation. So, I mean, how are we gonna believe those rumors? I don't know. We need some official statements, and then it will be more understandable what the hell is going on. But right now it's all about it's just rumors, by the way. So White Falcon is commenting about A-50 also. Levan, could you show us the wreckage of A-50 that was down at east of Azov Sea? Yet again, I mean, I cannot, because there is no videos about wreckage of A-50, as I understand. Some videos may circulate about some wreckage of some planes, but it confirms nothing. That's the point. That's the point of all of this. We need some official information, and right now we don't have official statements. But same time, some big channels, including Reber, by the way, published article, and he spoke about possibility that A-50 was shut down by Russian air defense systems, as a result of friendly fire. But yet again, without official statement, hard to tell. Maybe this accident take place. Maybe it happened. Maybe it's just rumors. Maybe Russian side is conducting some media operation and wants to persuade Western ruling class that Russia has no A-50s anymore, and they can easily send their F-16s in Ukraine without scaring that Russia will monitor sky. And when those F-16s are in Ukraine, then we will see some 1, 2, 3 A-50s simultaneously in the skies, and all those F-16s may get destroyed in a single day or week, in a week's time. We don't know, by the way. So, especially during the military conflict times, we should be careful what we really believe in, and we should take any information with a pinch of salt. That's just, that way, most likely we will not get confused. Anyway, let's continue. White Falcon is commenting, Russia using Iskander is not problematic. Russia is not targeting NATO member states, does it? But NATO member states are sending nuclear-capable weapon systems to Ukraine to target Russia. There is a huge difference, isn't it, White Falcon? If Russia was targeting NATO member states, okay, I can understand, but Russia is not. Russia is conducting operations in Ukraine, in zone of special military operation, and no Russian missile, as far as I know, no Iskander missile ever failed in any NATO member state's territory. There was reports that Geraint drone was some fragments of Geraint drones fell down in Romania. But Geraint drones not really nuclear capable, and in any ways Russia is not launching these missiles to target directly NATO member states. That's the main point. When NATO is sending nuclear capable missiles or weapon systems to Kiev regime to target Russia. And by the way, probably you know about statement of Biden and also head of NATO Jens Stoltenberg. They say that weapons that they are providing for Kiev regime will and can be used to strike deep inside Russian territory, on territory that is even by Ukraine recognized as a Russia. So huge difference in my opinion. Let's continue with the questions. Questions. Sorry, dear friends, if I miss any question. But I guess Oh, that's a question here. Gary Kogan is asking, when Medvedev was the Russian president, did he have the same straightforward approach that he shows now? Was he popular? Well, that's a good question. When Medvedev was president, he was seen as much more liberal as Putin. That's for sure. At least that's my understanding of how he was seen by public. Well, it was during his presidency that this extremely anti-Russian, by the way, media projects were formed and become so powerful that at some point they were actively used to destabilize Russia and they were openly calling people for demonstrations and for illegal activity, basically, including Dozhd, by the way, TV channel. And at some point, Medvedev was on Dozhd TV channel as a guest. And his, at the time, press spokesman, female, I cannot remember even her name now, she was actively supporting, she was somewhat involved, according to rumors, by the way, she was somewhat involved in creation of this Dozhd project, media project, and that became extremely destructive after some time. And probably you hear about Bolotnaya Ploshchad, the demonstrations there, and therefore, I mean, he allowed this to happen, Medvedev. Maybe he was inexperienced and too naive, really, when it comes to relationships with the West, and that's why he was not really cautious that these institutions that were created by these so-called liberals will be used against Russia. He was too naive at the time, but people may change, and people do change. More you know, more revisions you are doing on your point of views, and you may think one stuff today, but once you will receive some additional knowledge, additional understanding of the situation, you may see better way, you may change your approach, opinion. And that's what happened with Medvedev, I guess, because he was not this I don't want to say aggressive towards Western ruling elites. I will say he was more calm towards Western ruling elites when he was president. He is making now different statements, very strong statements. That definitely highlights that he did undergo some significant revision in his understanding of relationships with the Western ruling elites. If they can be trusted or not, and and we should always keep in mind that people in that level, they are receiving so much information that we will never know. As I said, by the way, more you know, better understanding you have of the situation. And anyway, let's continue. I hope I did answer to your question. So, by the way, questions. Jesus Aguilar is asking, Stoltenberg said Ukrainian F-16s could take off from NATO nations. Would Russia attack NATO air bases if they are used by Ukraine to fly F-16s to attack Russia? Well, I did not see that statement of Stoltenberg, dear friend. Maybe I mean, we should check on that information. Maybe you received this information a little bit from wrong source, because as far as I know, Stoltenberg said that F-16s can be used by Ukraine to strike deep inside Russian territory, but I don't think he said that those F-16s can fly from NATO bases, because that would be war. That would be declaration of war against Russia. And Medvedev, former Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, said exactly that if those F-16s will take off from NATO bases and strike Russia, then that's a direct conflict with between two sides. So, you know, Stoltenberg, I don't have any respect for Stoltenberg and his intellect, but I don't think he's that dumb that he will say that F-16s may take from NATO bases and target Russia. That would be too stupid even for him. And he is quite, you know. Also a question, Saturn is asking, why is NATO not afraid of striking Russian territory via Ukraine, yet Russia does not do same to NATO? Well, because there is plausible deniability. Until NATO forces, official NATO forces, are conducting operations against Russia directly, targeting Russian soil, they have plausible deniability in their hands, and Russia, theoretically, of course, Russia can do whatever it wants, but in this reality, Russia cannot make statement that NATO is openly in war with Russia. Indirectly, yes, NATO is in war with Russia, of course. But until NATO forces are conducting direct strikes on Russia, Russia cannot strike on NATO forces or on NATO member states. That's how it is. Until we will see direct strike on against Russia from NATO military personnel, officially NATO military personnel, with insignias and rest of it. Until then, Washington, London, Brussels, they have plausible deniability in their hands. And dear friends, I mean, we don't need really, I mean, Russia to strike NATO member states, because that would be end of everything, really. We should, I mean, me personally, I hope this Western ruling elites, Western ruling class will come to their senses and will go towards road of de-escalation, because I mean, how much they're gonna escalate, really? How further? What is left, really? And at some point, if Russia is provoked to conduct strikes against NATO, that's nuclear exchange, dear friends, and it will end everything, really, for humanity. So it's too dangerous stuff, by the way. I mean, it's nuclear weapons we are talking about. So let's hope it will never happen. If it will never come to it, that sides have to use nukes. It's just, you know. So let's continue. Jimpa Sarotri is commenting, in 2008, anti-Russian propaganda in US caused me to start looking into topics outside of US mainstream media. Well, I mean, at this point, I guess you were quite early to this game, I guess, because many people came to independent media, big and small or tiny, like my small media outlet, just recently in 2022, when level of Russophobia reached some extreme levels, and people start really asking, I mean, what the hell is going on here? But yes, I mean, this unfortunately, this geopolitical game was started by Western ruling class in 2008 when they start demonizing Russia. And how they did it, they provoke conflict between Russia and Georgia. They had their asset in Georgia, this Saakashvili. He was a president at the time. And basically, I guess he was ordered to provoke conflict with Russia. That's what he did. He renewed civil war inside the country in South Ossetia. And during that military operation, I guess he or his associates ordered Georgian forces to open fire on Russian peacekeepers. And when Russian peacekeepers die as a result of fire, that was it. Moscow, and president was Medvedev at the time, by the way. And Medvedev, or Russian government, has no other option other than take action, because any attack on peacekeepers, direct attack on peacekeepers, intentional, is an act of war. That's what it is. And I guess Russian peacekeepers were attacked exactly to provoke Russia on action, to take action. And Russia did intervene, and conflict between Russia and Georgia and in several days. But this project of demonization of Russia began then in 2008 and continues until now. Ukraine is just additional topic in this geopolitical game, but definitely not the first one. So I can understand your point here, that yes, in 2008 this crazy Russophobia became a mainstream stuff in the West. Yes. Also, question. Dear friends, sorry if I miss your question. Timothy Powell have a question. Have you considered the phone in with your subs? They can put their question and thoughts to you by phone cell or phone call. No, because by phone number, you can, if you have enough equipment or programs, and if you are, if you are good in hacking, theoretically it is possible that with phone number you can locate phone itself. And I cannot do that because it's a matter of safety. Of course, I have a tiny channel, and risks are much lower than big channels. But still, I have to take some steps for to be cautious, to make sure that my family is safe. It's not just about me. First of all, it's about safety of family, and therefore I cannot share publicly my phone number, because it's just it can be used in a different ways. So that's the reason. Otherwise, by the way, I'm quite engaged with community, isn't it? I have a Sunday live stream on YouTube. I have from Monday to Thursday, if there is no technical issues or some other reasons, from Monday to Thursday I have live streams on Rumble, and I'm quite engaged. I read emails. I'm answering on emails. Oh, dear friends, I did not check. Let me check here. So nothing here, and let's check here. And I guess nothing here also. Well, it is what it is, man. No donations, no questions. Today I didn't have any donation. This is third program that I'm working on. And there are days like this when a project did not receive even a single donation. It happens, quite often. But anyway, let's continue with questions. That's why it is important that, you know, to further develop my Patreon page, because when there is days like this, when I don't have even a single donation throughout the day, I can, you know, I can always calm down myself that I have support through Patreon, and I can have some understanding what kind of funds I have to operate through months. So, but anyway, let's continue. Questions. Yet again, dear friends, sorry if I miss any question. Gary Kogan is asking, will you be able to vote in the presidential elections? Do you have a Georgian or Russian citizenship? Can you have a dual citizenship? I am a Russian citizen, so I can vote, of course, during the presidential elections. I used to have a Georgian citizenship, but my citizenship was taken away illegally by Saakashvili's regime in 2009. And then me and my family end up in Russia, and we were in Russia since 2009. I was a stateless person for 10 years, more than that, and from 2009 until 2021. And in 2021, I received Russian citizenship. So, and by the way, I spoke about my story, my personal story, in 2 videos on the channel. And you can check those videos if you are interested. So, when it comes to elections, yes, I can participate, I can vote, and you know, and theoretically I can have a dual citizenship, Russian and I don't know, any other country. You just have to do some paperwork, but right now I have a Russian citizenship, and that's it. Nidesh Kumar is asking, when is Arctic trade route opening for trade? By the way, it's if you are talking about northern shipping route, it's open, I believe. Or maybe during this several months during the winter time, maybe ice is too strong, and the icebreakers are unable to provide support for commercial ships. But if I'm not mistaken, right now northern shipping route is operating, and there are more and more orders from shipping companies to transfer the goods through Arctic route. But yet again, it all depends, of course, on thickness of ice. Some years may be warmer, winter time, and ice may not be as thick, so that icebreakers will be able to open the route for commercial vessels. Maybe this year ice is too strong and there are no shipping. But I don't know if you are asking about this. If Arctic, this northern shipping route is closed now because of ice, it will open, I guess, in 2 months' time, when temperatures will drop significantly and ice will melt. Questions? I hope I did answer to your question, but this northern shipping route is definitely a big one, and I believe in next 10, 15, 20 years' time, it will become a major shipping route in this world. I have no doubts about it. If I had any opportunities to invest, if I had any funds to invest in some projects in northern shipping route, I will definitely invest because it has huge potential. It's gonna be number one. Just give it 10, 15, 20 minutes. Minutes, years, by the way. Question. How much weight do you give to the accuracy of the information given by the Ministry of Defense in respect to Ukraine? At this point, when it comes to state institutions, I believe Russian Defense Ministry is much more trustworthy than Ukrainian Defense Ministry or any other institution in Ukraine, by the way, because we all know stories that they are coming up with from Ghost of Kiev and up till now. There are days when they are shutting down some 110% of Russian missiles and drones and nonsense like that. There was spreading rumors that in Avdiivka operation, Russian side lost some 40 or 50,000 military personnel. Well, in entire operation, by the way, in Avdiivka direction, Russian side has some 30,000 military personnel. Some may say 40,000. That's all, by the way. So Kiev regime was saying that everybody died on that line of contact from Russian side. What a nonsense, what craziness, isn't it? But that's what Kiev regime was pushing, narrative that, Russian armed forces lost some 30, 40,000. Why not million, man? Why not 2 million or trillion? When this kind of stuff is happening and are pushed on the public from Kiev regime time after time after time, then come on, man. And at the same time, by the way, Russian Defense Ministry is very conservative. Very conservative. For example, we did not yet hear from Russian Defense Ministry that Russian armed forces are controlling at least half of Rabotina. We did not hear anything about progress in that direction. That's how conservative Russian Defense Ministry is. Russian Defense Ministry did not say anything yet about Severne and Lastachkina, I believe. And they did not say nothing about that settlement on the northern western side of Severne that Russian forces are conducting operations right now towards. Let me see name. I cannot remember all the names of these villages. I will check right now. Where is the Avdiivka here? This settlement is just a sec, by the way. Toninka, yes, Toninka. Nothing about Toninka from Russian Defense Ministry, while all the channels are reporting about Russian progress in this direction. Same we can say about Krasnaya on Bakhmut sector. So Russian Defense Ministry is quite conservative, by the way, in its estimations. And everybody is noticing this. It's not just me, but everybody is noticing it. When we learn that there was some progress and some achievement on line of contact, Russian Defense Ministry may report about it after, I don't know, a day or two. When they will check information 10 times, 10,000 times, then when they are absolutely sure that that's what happened. And of course they know from very first minute, but for whatever reason they are taking time to report, even on successful operations, by the way. That's how it is. So in my personal opinion, Russian Defense Ministry much more reliable than any other institution in Ukraine or in the West, for that matter. Wood for the Trees is asking, hi Levan, can you tell me, is it just British that have a contract in the Barents Sea, or are there other Euro contracts? Oh, most likely some other countries also have a contracts. And that contract, by the way, to cut cod and this other fish that is used in fish and chips, and was very popular among British how you say it, fishermen's. That contract was that agreement was made between Soviet Union and United Kingdom, some in 50s or 60s, and I guess similar contracts are in place between Russia and some other countries. Although for understandable reasons, I guess these other countries are not using cod as much as in United Kingdom because of this. I mean, fish and chips is UK's national dish. And now, by the way, because this, if there is other contracts, I don't know for sure. I didn't check that, and I will, by the way, if I didn't forget this, I will check for tomorrow this news, and if there is any additional information, I will share that information in updates. But if there is some agreements between Russia and some other European states, it's of course obvious that these other countries will start using this agreement as much as possible, and then will resell fish to UK, and therefore I guess Russian side will denounce agreements with those other countries also, if there is such agreements in the place. But Russian media didn't report about this topic, so I need to check if there is some agreements on that. Probably yes, because why would only United Kingdom and why only London and Moscow will have the agreement on that? Other countries will probably also try to have such an agreement. I don't know. So I guess this is it, by the way. I guess this is it. Let me check here. I'm glad that the internet worked okay. I was a little nervous, by the way, when I start first stream today, this evening, and it shut down literally in seconds. Well, I was thinking, what a lucky streamer am I? And well, it seems like now internet is working okay. So so dear friends, oh yes, yes, I forgot to mention this. Peter M is commenting that I just heard Zelensky claiming that the AFU have lost no more than 31,000 military personnel. Yes, I know, dear friend. He had some press conference today. All channels, by the way, in Telegram are sharing this informations about statements of Zelensky. I did not share nothing because I don't think it's serious, man. I mean, who the hell is Zelensky, man? That who is he? I mean, why should I share 50 posts on my Telegram about some nonsense that Zelensky is talking about? I'm kind of confused. Okay, I can understand if you share one news or two, but you should see Russian Telegram channels, by the way. They had some 10, 15 posts about statements of Zelensky during that press conference. I did not have any. If I remember correctly, I did not. Although I did see this information that he claims that only 31,000 military personnel was killed in AFU among Ukrainian armed forces. I mean, it's we all know what that is. We all know what that is, man. It's not even nonsense. It's how you gonna take seriously, man. How you gonna take seriously anything that Zelensky says, really? After all, his aide, by the way, this what's his name of that guy? he is now acting as a kind of opposition to Zelensky. Arestovich has said himself that Ukrainian armed forces lost about 300,000 military personnel, and he said that like months or two ago. Many of you probably remember. And now Zelensky is coming up with this number. I mean, it is unfortunate that Western ruling elites managed to provoke this conflict. It's tragic. It's a tragedy. This is civil war, by the way. I see it, and I said it many times, that this is conflict provoked by Western ruling elites, of course, but it definitely has elements of civil war, and it's a tragedy, undoubtedly. But when it comes down to factual information, then I mean, Zelensky's words, Zelensky's statements are total nonsense. But that's it. And Jimpa Rotary is asking about A-50 also. A-50 was a friendly fire. There are reports about it, that it was friendly fire. At least Reber, biggest Russian military channel, report that it might be friendly fire. But yet again, without official statements, I cannot say what happened, because I just don't know. I was not there. I don't have any sources in defense ministry or anywhere else. So, but I can report what the other channels are reporting, and Reber had a post on a Telegram that most likely this tragedy happened and plane was shut down by friendly fire. Jovan Neikerk is asking if F-16s take off from NATO state first, land in Ukraine, then take off again and strike Russia, will that still mean escalation caused by NATO states? Well, I guess so. Yes. If those planes, by the way, then went back to NATO state, yes, that's not operation. And that NATO plane, in that regard, Russia may see it as a NATO plane, which used the Ukrainian airfield as a jump airfield. That's it. So in that case, yes, I guess Moscow will see such an operation as a direct attack on Russia. Because it is. I mean, it is. Basically, if you are operating from NATO airfield and using Ukrainian airfields as a jump airfields, I mean, you still are operating from NATO. That's it. And dear friends, if I may, I will end this live stream now. Sorry if I missed any questions. And thank you all, of course, for participating, for your attention, and many thanks to all the members of our community who will watch this update later on. Have a great day. And Ruth is asking, Ruth Greening, veteran of our community, where is the Medvedchuk? He's somewhere in Russia, I guess. Medvedchuk, by the way, if you don't know, I mean, if not all members of our community know, Medvedchuk is a former leader of Ukrainian political party, Ukrainian opposition. He was arrested in Ukraine and then exchanged during their POW exchanges, one of the POW exchanges between the sides. And I guess right now Medvedchuk is somewhere in Russia, but I don't really know what he's up to, what he's doing. Sometime in media we can hear some statements from him, and I share informations about some of his statements, but I don't know much about him. He's quite passive. I would not say that he's, I mean, really active, at least publicly. So thank you all once again. Thank you all, and have a great day, dear friends. See you tomorrow.